This is a very interesting hole. Creek is coming right around this little bend here and shooting straight down and boom, hitting this bank and then evening out. And it's a nice little drop off right here. So if I'm a trout in the winter, I'm all around in here. In fact, I might even be back down in here a little bit, waiting for all the bugs to kind of come down and trickle in. If I'm in a feeding frenzy and I'm hungry, I'm up in this faster water on the bottom, because as this water comes through here, it's shallow, then it dips down. So right below there, it's probably very, very slow. The water on the surface is fast. You can sort of seeing it kind of swirl because the water's coming up and swirling around. So my plan here is I'm going to cast over in this faster water and just let my flies or fly just kind of maneuver in there. See what the depth is. Ooh, got someone. All right. That's what I wanted to do. Got on that Georgia peach. There's little riffles coming down through here, and then it comes right under this huge brush here. There's an overhang tree, so this looks very deep. I'm just gonna cast my streamer basically as far down as I can, let it sink, and then strip it back up on towards me. Hopefully there's some trout in here. Cast it right up to the base of that tree back there. There we go. Just let that sink. Let some line out. Let some line out. Let it sink. And then I'll just strip it on up. See if there's any trout in here. All right. That's a good fish right there. So whenever I find a piece of bark or a log or something like that up against the bank, I always like to just kind of lift it and see if there's any life on it or near it or anything like that. There's some snails. It's a watercress. I do have something that can match that. Let's see here. Well, that's why those waltz do well. Put that back in there. Just gonna hide it right underneath there like that. Put it right back in the water. There we go. So, pretty cool hole. Creek is coming right down through here. It's kind of banking up against this tree here. There's some brush over on this contralateral side. And then it comes underneath this tree and runs right through here. Now, right here is sort of shallow. There's a rock here, but really this flow is coming. Sort of see it's no flow over there by that bank because of the white foam. There's not a lot of white foam that's right here, but this white foam is coming straight down through here, and you sort of see it's swirling underneath. So to me, that looks like a good spot to fish. I'm just gonna cast underneath this tree as far as I can and let it drift on through. I'm using a waltz and a cream white caddis. I'm high up on a bank, so I don't really need my flies to be... Ooh! I'm not sure if you saw that, but I flossed him. And what that means is it went up for my indicator, and I set the hook, and it went right through into its lips. Not only that, but hooked it perfectly. All right, how about that? It's a nice fish, thank you. I'm actually having a little bit of a hard time seeing this clear indicator. So the reason why I put the clear indicator on was I thought that there was going to be a lot of ice on the surface, and I wanted it to blend in with the ice chunks that were drifting down, but there's not a lot of ice chunks. So I'm just going to switch this over to a orange one that I can see. That down. All right, let's get back up here. I want to drift this right up against this ledge here. There we go. Now you can sort of see my indicator better. See how this water is coming down from those two disturbances? I wonder if they're in there. They were. That is where they were. There we go. So this is an epic hole. And it's epic because the creek is coming down. It's shallow riffles there. There's a big rock right up there in the corner that's causing a disruption. And it gets deep down in here. And you can see all these boulders. These boulders are a great spot for trout to hide behind. So I'm going to cast up here and work this close seam to me and see if there's anyone in. And then I'm going to work my way over underneath all those boulders. I'm using a dry dropper rig, a size 10 Rosenhopper, and a small little yellow hare's ear. I'm gonna cast close to me first, right where it sort of gets deep here. Let's try that again. Right behind all these nooks and crannies is a great spot for trout to kind of hang. Right behind there. Because they wait behind these big boulders and they just sit and they wait for bugs to kind of drift down right around the rock, and then they can go ahead and grab them. It's a really gorgeous hole. See if I can get this trout over this rock here. Get it into this slower water. Alright. Nice, gorgeous fish. There you go. Tree provides a lot more for trout than you think. One, it's protection. Two, there's lots of bugs that are crawling all over that all day long, all night long. Those bugs are falling. Not only that, but there's rodents, there's mice, there's snakes. They climb on that, they fall into the water. Down here, nice little pool. Trout can pick them off. So I'm trying to get myself slowly in a position where I can cast above this tree and drift it on through here. I don't know how much depth I have, so I'm going to try a cast or two. I got a good back cast. I just got to be careful about my forward cast. I'm just going to try to get it way over there on that tree and just see if my fly is going to drag on the bottom and if I need to change the depth or not. So my hope is that there are trout in here picking off any bugs that might be coming off from these branches. And a hole like this actually, oh, would be a great hole to get something on the top, because these trout are used to stuff falling off of this and hitting the surface, and they're picking things off. That's why I use a dry dropper. There we go.
There it is, getting that snook on that plastic mullet, voodoo mullet. There it is. Getting the snook on the plastic. Loving life right now.
Walking like a man, hitting like a hammer. She's a juvenile scam. Never was a quitter, tasted like a raindrop. She's got the look. She goes.
Well, this looks like a pretty awesome hole. Ooh, got one. Gorgeous brookie. Oh, it's a gorgeous brown. It's a really gorgeous brown. My goodness gracious, look at that brown.